Hey everybody, Juddy with J&J True Outdoor Adventures. I was going to do a little video here. I don't want to drag it out, but you know how J&J True Outdoor Adventures got started with me and my son. And some of the things I wanted to do was do a little series taking you through my start of hunting. You know, some people are born into a family that hunt, so therefore they hunt. Not always, but generally if you come from a family that hunts, you're going to hunt. Then you also have those who were not born into a family that hunts, and for whatever reason they get into hunting. Maybe from reading magazines. When I was a kid, I read Outdoor Life. I had a subscription to it. But the other is you grow up in a family that doesn't hunt, and you find the love of your life, which is my wife Brenda. We get married, her family hunts. They've hunted all their lives, and that's how I got into hunting. That's how I got introduced to hunting. Well, that was back in we got married in '79, and I think in 1980 I may have started squirrel hunting with them. Had a shotgun, just an old single shotgun, and I liked squirrel hunting. And then my mother passed away in 1981 in the summer, and that year I went squirrel hunting some. But in 1982, my brother-in-laws and my father-in-law asked if I'd like to go on a deer hunting trip. So we went on a deer hunting trip. I didn't know nothing other than what I'd read and all that. I didn't know the area. We was going to be hunting in the Monongahela National Forest, where our deer camp is now. And we had talked about it and everything. My father-in-law told him I don't have a gun. I used a 16 gauge pump shotgun with slugs that he had. I didn't have the proper clothing or anything, and I apologize for the dog barking. Well, like I said, didn't have any clothing adequate for deer hunting, so I got some boots, and he had an old wool it was red with black plaid. Looked like a flannel shirt. It was a hunting outfit. And I wore that, and I think I had a blaze orange vest. But that year we went up there, I can't remember if we went up on Saturday or Sunday before opening day. No camper. He had a truck with aluminum topper on it. My brother-in-law had a truck with aluminum topper. And I apologize again for the dog. Well, like I said, he had a truck with aluminum topper. My brother-in-law had a truck with aluminum topper, and we stayed in the back of those. 3 in one truck, 2 in another. There was 5 of us, and we hunted the whole week. And my brother-in-law Dennis, he killed a nice 6-point on Friday. Well, that Friday, I was hunting with my father-in-law that whole week, because he's the oldest in the family, and I was trying to learn from him. I knew nothing about hunting. Well, that Friday, just before my brother-in-law got that nice 6-point, I was with my father-in-law on a ridge top, an oak tree he liked to stand beside, and standing there, we heard a gunshot from out on the point, which is the point I hunt now. Come from there, and that's where Dennis was hunting. And we heard, I think it was 2 more gunshots. And it was quiet. Of course, back then, didn't use radios or nothing like that to keep in contact. So I told my father, I said, hey, I'm going to go out there and see if he got it. And I said, also, I've never seen a deer gutted. I want to go see. So I started out through there, you know, of course, walking, and I get to the ridge, and I see him down part of the way out on that point. And by the time I get down there, he's already gutted the deer, and I carried his rifle and everything. He let me use his rifle the following Saturday. We got the deer back to camp, and he told his story, which, you know, that's not what this is all about, but, you know, that was how I got into hunting. Well, the second year, I was better prepared. I had a 7x57 German Mauser. I bought clothing, you know, everything I needed. And this time, I'm trying to remember, I think we had a slide-in camper that we used. That first year, it was rough. That first year, I didn't know after that whether or not I wanted to hunt again or not. Trying to sleep three. There was 3 of us in one truck, 2 in the other. And I didn't know if I wanted to continue hunting that way, but he got a slide-in camper, and over the years we progressed to different campers. But the second year, which would have been 1983, I started keeping a diary, and I have kept this. Well, I think the last entry into this book was from I've got other pages scattered here and there. I think I've got some stuff up into the early 90s, but didn't go into great detail. But when you get into this diary that I kept, it started the Friday. I don't know if you can see that real good or not, but it started on Friday, November the 25th, 1983. And that was the year I killed my 6-point, my very first deer ever. And like I said, I killed it with a 7x57 German Mauser. It had a Lyman peep sight on it. Had an old sling on. I mean, it was a heavy gun. It wasn't sporterized. I mean, this was still all military. The only thing that was added to that gun was that Lyman peep sight. But I want to read just a little bit from this. I don't want to make this a boring video, but you know, we got up like at 4 a.m. and breakfast was fixed. We were discussing what areas we were going to hunt. 5 a.m. we were getting ready. Checked outside. We had 2 or 3 inches of snow on the ground. Got everybody's hopes up because we had all that snow. And then at 6 a.m. Dennis and I started out for the woods. And this is when we used to camp on the mountain, camped at the base of the mountain. And we went to the same spot. We kind of worked out a thing, you know, that was his ridge, there flat out there where he hunted, and I hunted on the right hand side of it, which was a hollow, and watched that area. And we got up there about 7 a.m. He sat in his spot, and I went to the hollow. Around noon, Dennis and I started tracking in the snow. Hadn't seen anything in the area. We'd been in earlier that morning, you know, and then we'd seen in the snow where a deer or two had been looking for something to eat. And so about 1, we spotted some turkeys while we were tracking. And 3 o'clock, we started back to camp. And on our way, we heard some shots from where my father-in-law hunted at. So we decided to head back over, see if he'd gotten one. And when we got back over there, he wasn't there. So we decided to sit in the air again and wait till dark before, you know, heading back to camp. And back then, we didn't have the backpacks. We had little fanny packs. We did have a flashlight, you know, our snacks, a bottle of water, or something like that in. And then he went to the top of the hill to watch, you know, down in the valley, down in the holler. And I went to the spot where he had sat. And I was sitting there, and what I got rode here was about 4:30. I sat down in the spot and had just got comfortable when something moving caught my eye. A doe was crossing the flat about 40 yards in front of me. Just behind her, I saw a buck. I could see his horns, but I couldn't tell how many points. As I brought up my 7mm Mauser, I turned slightly in the hot seat, and back then, that was the days the hot seats were made out of plastic or vinyl or something. This caused the buck, and it squeaked, and this caused the buck to stop behind a large tree. I brought the deer's rear end into my peep sights and moved forward to where I thought his shoulder would be when he stepped out. Well, he stepped out, and when he stepped out, which seemed like it took an eternity for him to do, I saw his shoulder in my sights, and I fired my gun. The doe jumped and was gone. I mean, as soon as I shot, I could still see this in my mind. And she jumped and was gone. The buck just kind of trotted across the front in front of me. I worked the bolt, fired again. By the time I had worked the bolt a second time, the buck was gone. Well, Denny come running and asked if I'd got him, and I told him I didn't know. He told me to follow up on the deer's trail. I went to the tree where the deer had stopped, and when he stepped out, I fired. And I started tracking, and I saw no blood, but I found where the doe had jumped, and I found, deer tracks in the snow. Okay, well, I followed those tracks up the side of the hill, and then I saw the buck. He was laying in the snow. He'd only went about maybe 30, 40 yards from where I'd shot him. Walked up to him real slow, making sure he was dead. And I thought to myself, someone's killed a buck and left it lay. We'd heard gunshots out there. Thought it was my father-in-law. Then it just dawned on me. This was the one I had just shot. The buck was mine. I yelled at Denny and told him that I'd found him and I had got him. While he was coming, I looked at the deer's rack and I saw that it was a 6-point. Well, when Denny got there, I was looking at the deer and he was talking to me and everything, and he told me, he says, "Are you going to gut the animal or not? If I have to, I'm going to keep it." So I ended up, gutting the animal. And I got him ready to drag out of the woods, and Denny and I compared this year's kill, which was 1983, to the last year, whenever he killed his 6-point in 82. Same area. And similar the same way, when Denny killed his buck back in 82, his 6-point, the doe had come out and the buck had followed right in behind her. And talking about how close we were to each other, I helped him, I carried his gun and stuff. I even had to go back and get his knife back in 1982. He'd left it stuck in a log after cutting the deer and everything, getting the rope tied on it. And this year that 1983, he was carrying my rifle. And we both killed him on a Friday. Well, I dragged the deer back to camp, and when we got to camp about an hour later, I told Denny that we'd tell Dad and Son and Dink to look at the fox squirrel I'd killed. There's a whole new story to that, but I won't get into that. And everyone come out, seen the buck laying there. Dink helped me hang it up in the tree. And of course we have a spring that runs by that campsite that we camp up at the mountain. And we got buckets of water and went to wash, out the inside of the deer. Thinking back, I'd got that deer at the first shot, got him through the shoulder, through the top of the heart, and out the other side. And there was a lot of mass that year. There was a lot of deer sign. Not many deer were seen though. And then on the 26th, I got up that morning and I fixed breakfast for everyone. And everyone left camp except for me. I stayed in camp. I didn't have an extra buck permit back then. And I had saved the deer's heart and the liver. And of course, I put the deer's heart in a pot and boiled it up through the day. And cut up the deer's liver and everything. We rolled that in flour and fried it that evening. And that was on Saturday. That evening when they came back in, started packing up, and Dink helped me get the deer off the tree. We placed it on the truck, and we started home. And when we got home, my mother-in-law, she comes out, she sees there's a deer, and she thought Denny had killed it, and told her no, that I had got that deer. I took Brandon. At that time, Brandon would have been 3 years old. I took him out to see the deer. And of course, you know, a 3-year-old, they're just tickled to death they seen it. And then, you know, like I said, that was 1982 when I first got into hunting. And 1983 when I killed my very first buck, and it was a 6-point. And I was just tickled to death. You know, my first or second year out hunting, and I killed a 6-point buck. I didn't get his head mounted. I wish I would have, but no. We were, you know, just got married in 79, and it was, you know, jobs were kind of hit and miss, and you didn't make a lot of money, so I didn't have the money to get the deer's head mounted, but I did mount the rack on a plaque and engraved in. I had it engraved on a bronze or brass plaque the year I killed it. And the cartridge, I found the cartridge that I'd shot that deer with laying there where I was sitting, and that is mounted on that plaque as well, which I'll show you here in a minute. But like I said, I got this diary, and it's got, you know, 1984 deer camp, and there's some notes in here from squirrel hunting, you know, that kind of more, you know, have good memories, and going fishing, and then when I started taking my sons hunting. And, you know, it would be good. It'd be good for someone to keep a diary. It's time for me to start another book. This one is falling apart, as you can tell. I've got a map folded up in here of up there where we hunt at camp. I kept a list of the firearms I've owned and their serial numbers and the tags that was on them when I bought them, what I paid for them. You know, probably wouldn't mean nothing maybe to my children to read later on. But let me get that rack, and I'll show you what that rack looks like. And like I said, it's nothing massive, it's nothing huge, but I just want to give a history how I got started into hunting. I wish I'd got started at a younger age, but my dad had passed away when I was 13, and it was just me and my mother, and we just never, you know, wasn't nobody in the family who hunted. So let me go get that rack, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I have the rack. It's laying right here. This is it. This is the 6-point rack that I got in 1983 on a Friday evening. It's got a little dust on it. Let's try and get it off. But I just put it on a plaque like this, and you can look right here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but here is the 7x57 Mauser casing from the day I shot it, mounted here. And then right here it says Rucker Gap 11/25/1983. I hope you can see that. And the buck, you know, like I said, he was following that doe, and I thought for sure I wasn't going to get him. That hot seat squeaked, and when it did that, I thought, oh no, he's going to turn, he's going to bolt, he's going to run. But I was able to get him. But, you know, like I said, this video, I don't know how long it's been, you know, it might be 15, 20 minutes long, was kind of introduce you on how I got into hunting. And I may do, I've got other racks hanging on the wall. I may be doing some more little, hopefully short videos, maybe not as long as this one, on some of those hunts, and share the, you know, the image of the rack with you. But appreciate you watching J&J True Outdoor Adventures. Please like, comment, and subscribe. There is more to follow. Jared and I went out and checked game cameras today, didn't do a video. He wanted to check his camera, his 8-man camera that I just built the box that you all watched. So we went out and checked that. He had, in 1 week, he had 340 pictures. And that camera takes pretty good pictures, nighttime and daytime. But he will do a review on that camera. It'll probably be after the season is over. While we're running the trail camera, he doesn't feel comfortable doing a review of that camera because he's just now putting it out. But what we've seen today, you know, trigger speed seemed to be okay. Quality of the pictures seemed to be great. And, you know, out of that 340 pictures, he had a lot of bears, a lot of turkeys, and there was some deer, some coons, but nothing really big. I mean, there was a buck in it, but nothing really big to write home about. So we're still, you know, checking them out. I checked my camera. It only, in a week's time since I changed the card, it only had 41 pictures, and most of them were bears again, a couple does. He had some fawns on his. That was good to see. So, but again, we appreciate you watching J&J True Outdoor Adventures, and hopefully there'll be more videos to come. We're thinking about doing a giveaway, but I'm not going to get into that right now until I know for sure what we're going to do. But I'll let you know. Also, we have a Facebook page. Any of those that's on Facebook, of course, the link is when you go to our main J&J True Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel, you'll see the link over in the top banner for Facebook, and it takes you to our J&J True Outdoor Adventures Facebook page. So until the next video, as Big Al likes to say, we'll see you in the woods. Thanks for watching.